To say The Lion King is a masterpiece is something else, and while The Lion King is a masterpiece based off of a Shakespeare masterpiece, it still doesn't face the fact that the 1994 film is awesome. Despite The Lion King not even coming close to one of my favourite animated films, I can't deny the popularity and the genius that is that first film. It still holds to this day. But this is a versus video, so not only will I be talking about the incredible 1994 version, but we get to do a side-by-side with the 2019 version as well. Hello, it's me, the Average Critic. Don't forget to smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more great content, and let's talk about one of the greatest films of all time, and its unique and lackluster counterpart. Let's talk about The Lion King. Let's start with something both films do in spades, but for different reasons. The animation. The 1994 is a classic 2D drawn animation, and it looks beautiful. Cinematography and colour looks absolutely incredible. Character animations are amazing, expressing such joy and magic, which is a huge reason for this film's popularity. The level of detail in the emotions of these characters are incredible. They all go through it all. To Scar's slithering British persona of a villain, to Timon's modern sense of humour, and Mufasa's presence as a strong and mighty king. The 2019 version, however, despite the animation yes being very groundbreaking, it does have a lot of flaws for its reasons. But despite the animation being groundbreaking, the characters feel soulless. They are emotionless, and look, I get it, they are going for the realistic take, but realism doesn't always mean good or better. Every single character is animated with zero emotion because they look so realistic. And while that can be down to the animators or whoever decided that, it doesn't help that this film's cast are incredibly different. And the 2019 version has some terrible voice acting. More on that later. So where both films have strong animation for different reasons, that is the only thing they both do quite equally. But the first thing I want to talk about is both of these films' cast. The original 1994 version has probably the best cast in any movie I have ever seen. Every actor is a standout performance. It's easy to assume James Earl Jones as the standout, but even someone like Rowan Atkinson as Zazu, Nathan Lane as Timon, Jeremy Irons as Scar, every single person sells it. This script is made for them. Jeremy Irons is very much channeling his Shere Khan from the Jungle Book. He is having so much fun with this role. He is dark, he's funny, he's a well-balanced, layered character. Nathan Lane, of course, is incredible as Timon. That actor is an absolute genius and is funny in anything. There is a level of humour to Timon which is so genius. It's easy to say Pumbaa is the one for the kids and is the easy comedic sidekick, and to be fair, we love Pumbaa. Ho ho ho, we love Pumbaa. But Nathan Lane is not nearly remembered for this film as he should be. The comedic timing for that role is amazing, and it is almost impossible to copy. The 2019 cast, however, oh god, wow.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Never before have I seen a cast where I love every single one of these actors individually, but the level of acting in this film is shocking. Beyonce is simply in this film to be herself, not to bring any character and to play a meaningful role. She's here to be herself. And even with her singing, she should not be in this film, which we will get onto later, but I know there's a lot of Beyonce fans out there, but she is not right for this film. Then there's this guy, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that. He is trying something very different as Scar, and I can tell he's trying something much more dark and serious, but he's lost all meaning of what Scar is. Jeremy Irons has this cold, brilliant, fun performance of making it seem like Scar is on Simba's side. The 2019 version feels so bored and lackluster. The problem is within the script. Because the dialogue is somewhat identical to the original in most scenes, it's not made for them. What works for Jeremy Irons isn't going to work for this version. But even when you have James Earl Jones reprise one of his most famous roles, even he sounds bored. Again, the performances in this film feel weak and tired. I mean, listen to this very small amount of dialogue between Scar and Mufasa. The script is exactly the same, but they are performed very differently. Here is the original.
Mufasa, quick! Stampede in the gorge! Simba's down there!
Simba?
Now listen to the 2019 version.
Mufasa, quick! Stampede in the gorge! Simba's down there!
Simba?
You do see that, right? I'm not kidding, I laughed at how bad that dialogue is delivered. The 1994 version, they had this sense of urgency and risk. In the 2019 version, despite it being the same fucking actor, Mufasa does not seem to care for his child. Listen to it again.
Simba.
Simba?
If you listen to this compared to the old one, you'll see his voice actually has a much more resonant quality now, a little bit of a more emotion in it from living a whole life.
Seriously, the acting in this movie is just bad. Now, you could say it's just the actors playing the roles very differently and they're going about it in a different way, but it's really not. These actors are not good voice actors, which doesn't help as the dialogue is spoken with no emotion. Zazu is played by John Oliver, and you can tell he's trying to be a little bit different due to the realistic animation, but unfortunately he has the least amount of emotion in his character due to simply the creature he is. It's really off-putting seeing his voice come out of a character with no emotion. He's literally 2 eyes and a beak, nothing changes. And unfortunately, again, compared to Rowan Atkinson's performance, his jokes really don't work. The standout performance in the 2019 version are Seth Rogen as Pumbaa and all of the hyenas. Seth Rogen has moments of doing his own dialogue, which makes him very funny, and for a retelling of the story, I think he's perfect. The hyenas in this film are actually, to a degree, a step up from the original. And while that's not to say the 1994 version of the hyenas are bad, because of course they aren't, I absolutely love Whoopi Goldberg in this role. But Keegan-Michael Key is hilarious in this film, and Florence Kasumba does an excellent job as a voice actor, as all the hyenas get a bit more character and depth in this film, which for a retelling of the story is good. They're trying something different, and it works. They are dark, they are funny, and add more depth to these characters, which is something I really enjoyed. Now, of course, you can't talk about The Lion King without mentioning its music. I don't need to say more, and that the music in The Lion King is incredible. You know it, I know it, there is something for everyone. With its African-style roots and its perfect lyrics, even if the entire film was rubbish, the music would always be amazing, especially with the respected names that create it. I don't think I need to talk much about the original score, because the score is also in the 2019 version, in that it barely changes, and the singing barely changes. I watch these films back to back, and I can tell you the opening, like the first line of it sounds exactly the same, from the instruments they use, and while of course the singing is a little bit different, it's still the same. The opening in the remake is fine, it's all very similar, but it all gets really bad when we get to the number I Just Can't Wait to Be King. Now, we have all sung these songs in the shower, in the car, or wherever. We know all the little beats and those little details of singing those songs because we've sung them ourselves. And no offense to the singers involved, it sounds exactly like the original soundtrack. To those tiny little expressions and the details from the original, no one is trying anything different. And when they do, it's just riffing horribly, and it does not sound good. Now again, maybe they didn't want to tarnish on the original because it's so iconic, but if that's the case, then you shouldn't be making this film at all. Beyoncé is in this film, and I'm sorry, she's awful. I know there are a lot of Beyoncé lovers out there, but she is not a voice actress, she's not a musical singer, she's a pop singer, and she has no place being in this movie. Can You For The Love Tonight is an awful rendition in this version. There are horrible riffs, and instead of the singers connecting with each other to create a meaningful performance, they're all trying to out-sing each other and show off. They're all so excited to be singing these songs that they forget to add character and emotion to these musical numbers. And with someone like Beyoncé, it's hard to be on the same level as her, and not in a good way. Hakuna Matata sadly loses all of its magic. Remember when you were a kid and Hakuna Matata is that magical number with fun, joy, and laughter? Yeah, none of that is here. Despite the fact that Seth Rogen is a good voice for this character, singing is definitely not his best quality, and to be fair, I think he would agree with that. Same goes for Billy Eichner as Timon, as singing is definitely not in his repertoire. Even the added song Spirit, which I love what the song is trying to be, is a great scene for Simba deciding to return to Pride Rock. It's a great fine example of where to place a new song. The problem is that song is written by Beyoncé, sung by Beyoncé, it does not match the soundtrack of the rest of the movie, and is a completely forgettable song. Also, why is Beyonce the one singing it? It's Simba's moment. The song feels like Beyonce asked to make a song for the film, and the producers just couldn't say no because, of course, you can't say no to Beyonce. Hey Disney, how about instead of adding songs by a popular voice artist, actually make a meaningful song that doesn't feel like a cash grab free easy marketing? I'm not saying Beyonce can't write songs, but is she as good as Elton John? I'm gonna say no. The 1994 version of The Lion King is a fan favourite for a reason, with its very strong emotional story, incredible characters, with some of the most emotional moments in any Disney film, with incredible themes of death, losing loved ones, responsibility and friendship. And the 2019 version is perhaps one of the worst remakes of our generation. It's an easygoing cash grab with awful acting, awful singing, no way near as emotional as its predecessor, and what's bad is that this film made money. And it is the biggest red flag to Disney selling themselves out. So after all that, the 1994 version gets my professional rating of 10 out of 10. And it's just not my favourite, so it does get my personal rating of 9 out of 10. And The Lion King 2019 gets my professional rating of 2 out of 10. And I'm being very generous there. And it gets my personal rating of 1 out of 10. Everything about this film rubs me the wrong way, and not because The Lion King is my favourite film, because it isn't. I prefer a lot of other films before this. But this film really should not have existed. But we can all pretend it doesn't exist, as the original film still stands out to this day, and it is Disney magic. So thank you for joining me in this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to let me know in the comment section some of your thoughts on The Lion King, both 1994 and 2019 version. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I do weekly videos on all things animation, so please make sure to tune in for my next video. And make sure to follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.